before entering the event so that they don't get arrested. And there was a size limit on backpacks being brought into the event. So I think at EDC there were a fair amount of drug arrests, and there were drug dealers that were arrested. I think by limiting the size of the backpack, I think the police were hoped to deter drug dealers from going in and selling drugs to the people going into the events. There was a concerted effort to sort of provide more messaging for the attendees, and this was done in a variety of ways. There were electronic billboards that were at the entrances on drinking and driving, and tips on what to do when you felt sick or overdosing. And inside the venue itself, there were banners placed throughout the venues so that sort of education type public health messages to take breaks, drink water, so forth. These are just other general alcohol-related recommendations to have the wristbands that easily identify people that are over 21, under 21. And in terms of education, harm reduction related recommendations, we did produce a PSA to address ecstasy use. We used messaging from public health, and also we consulted with the industry and worked with DJs to produce a PSA. And we had Cascade was involved, Z-Trip, and a member of the Black Eyed Peas. And we did pass out harm reduction cards throughout the subsequent events after EDC. These were similar to the cards that you find on Dance Safe, on ecstasy harm reduction, just informing and educating the youth on sort of, if you're taking it, then things to be aware of, and how to stay safe. We also met with the event staff before the events and sort of briefed them on the different aspects of ecstasy use and overdose, and so that they could recognize the symptoms of ecstasy use and overdose. And lastly, we did kind of work with LAPD to test the pills that were seized from the events, and that's still ongoing. We've encountered some legal issues, so we'll see how that goes. We worked with the promoters and the Coliseum Commission to ensure that water was available throughout the events, and there were roaming vendors so that it would be more easily accessible. And then there was an effort to sort of beef up the first aid and also have roaming medical teams. At EDC, as I said before, there were over 100 people transported, but at the subsequent events at the Coliseum, and that included Love Festival, Monster Math, and Together as One, the rate of transports did go down because a lot of the situation, they were handled at the first aid tent. and also through the roaming EMTs. So basically these recommendations were presented to the Board of Supervisors, and they actually adopted all the recommendations and recommended them as general policy direction for all the large-scale electronic music festivals throughout LA County, whether they took place in private or public venues. So basically, all they could do is recommend them. I mean, you can't make people, enforce all these recommendations, especially at their private venues. But we can recommend them to adopt them, and say they're going to make the attendees safer. So a couple photos on sort of what we did. So we did, we briefed the security staff. Going in, the wanding was sort of like airport security. People had to take off their shoes, and they got wanded down, make sure they didn't bring in weapons. And these are some of the signs that were put up at the parking lots. And there were other signs inside that basically convey the same messages. And here are some of what an amnesty box looks like, for those who haven't seen one. And the amnesty boxes were sort of emptied at the end, but unfortunately, due to the contracting, we couldn't see what was inside them.
What?
That was, yeah, they just took them away and basically incinerated them right there. Yeah, the company.
Is it like Glastonbury, they actually test what's in there?
They didn't do that. So, still on. So what's happened since then? Basically in LA County, situations and events outside the control, our control, influence the promoters to move the events outside LA County. The LA Coliseum was going through a series of events and upheaval. So unfortunately, EDC actually moved to Vegas, and Monster Massive and Love Festival actually moved to Orange County. But at least I think we have built a strong foundation. So when these events do come back, we can address them correctly. And actually, we just received an award from the Board of Supervisors last month for best teamwork. So I mean, efforts are being recognized. I mean, it's going to take concerted effort for everyone involved to sort of educate and the public about this.
Thank you, Ben.